In the serene town of Pocatello, Idaho, a seemingly perfect evening turned into a nightmare.
September 22nd, 2006. We're skipping our fourth hour. We're writing our plan right now for tonight. Our plan is supposed to happen tonight. So hopefully nothing will go wrong and we can get our first kill done, started, and we can keep going.
Cassie Jo Stoddart, a bright and beloved teenager, was murdered by her own friends in a plot chillingly inspired by horror movies and real-life tragedies.
She's our friend, but you know what? We all have to make sacrifices.
Dive into the twisted minds behind the infamous Scream murders.
Brian, she was not supposed to die.
I know.
You didn't mean
How did you
for
feel
that
about
to happen.
Cassie? Tell us how you feel about Cassie dying.
I'm extremely sad.
And uncover the dark secrets that led to this unimaginable crime.
So sorry. I didn't know. What is the Cassie doing?
Welcome back to our channel, where we delve deep into the most shocking and intriguing criminal cases from around the world.
Was she laying on the ground?
Yes, and she was breathing really hard, and it's like, I have to kill her, so she tapped her again, and I said, wait, no.
Today we explore the haunting case of Cassie Jo Stoddart, a story of trust, betrayal, and a community forever changed.
We came up the stairs and we walked here and we shut the store. We shut it just scared. And then we walked over here and then Tori stepped in front of me and he walked over here and then Cassie was saying, who's there and stuff, and I was about to say, hey, and then she screamed,
Join us as we piece together the clues and unravel the horrifying events of that fateful night. If you find this story as compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth true crime stories. Cassie Jo Stoddart was born on December 21st, 1989 in Pocatello, Idaho. Cassie's mother, Anna Maria, was born in 1964, also in Pocatello. She graduated from high school in 1982 and then attended cosmetology school. Anna ran a beauty salon from her home. She was married, had a daughter named Christy, and then had Cassie 6 years later. Andrew, the youngest, was born 18 months after Cassie. Anna and her husband eventually divorced. Anna worked various jobs until she met Victor Price, who became the father figure for her children. It was implied that Cassie and her siblings spent a lot of time with their grandparents, even if they didn't have legal custody. Andrew, Cassie's younger brother, recalled that they spent much of their childhood with their grandparents. He described Cassie as headstrong and mentioned how they were always into the same things, doing everything together despite occasional sibling arguments. He looked up to her as a role model, noting her intelligence and achievements. Cassie was a talented artist, with her mother proudly displaying her artwork at home. She loved music, was smart, made good grades, and was beautiful. She was described as kind and pro-social, with no behavioral issues at home or school. People who knew the Stoddart family described them as kind and loving. This wasn't just about Cassie, her siblings, mom, and stepdad, or father figure. It extended to aunts, uncles, and grandparents. They were a close-knit family with no negative reports or red flags. Of course, no family is perfect, but there was nothing alarming about them. Cassie was attending Pocatello High School, located in the southeastern part of Idaho, not far from Rexburg. By the late summer and early fall of 2006, Cassie was 16 and had grown into a beautiful, smart, and ambitious young lady with plans for her future. Cassie and her younger brother Andrew were very close. They were only 1 grade apart, so they spent a lot of time together and were like sibling best friends. As Cassie neared the end of her sophomore year, she started dating a young man named Matt Beckham. They had known each other since elementary school. Matt's background is a bit sparse, but it was mostly him, his mother, and a younger sister. Matt was a good boyfriend, and he and Cassie had been dating for about 5 months over the summer. Cassie and Matt shared 2 high school friends, who seemed to be closer to Matt but were accepted by Cassie as well. Their names were Brian Lee Draper and Tori Adamczyk. Initially, Tori hated Matt, but soon grew to like him.
So you guys hang out on a regular basis. You hooked up with Brian and you said, hey, we should go to Cassie's place.
Yeah, we were planning that during school.
Okay. Did you know that Matt, her boyfriend, was going to be there too?
Yes.
So, and you're also familiar with him?
Yes.
Friends with him?
Mm-hmm. I hated him last year.
Okay.
And then I didn't really hate him. I didn't really know him.
Right.
I just disliked him at school.
Disliked him because?
I don't know. It's a lot of things.
Just the way he acted, or?
He annoyed me pretty much.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then this year he was going out with Cassie, and Cassie's one of my friends, so I just made peace with that and just started talking to him.
Okay.
Brian Lee Draper was born on March 21st, 1990. His family described him as a normal, happy child until he befriended Tori. He spent most of his early life in Utah before moving to Idaho. Family members remembered Brian as an affectionate, fun-loving, practical joker who started to change during the summer of 2006, coinciding with the time he began spending more time with Tori. While some believed Brian changed after meeting Tori, others said he was already a moody and seemingly depressed teenager with an obsession with violence since the 6th or 7th grade. Despite this obsession, it's important to note that Brian had no history of actual violence. Brian was raised in the Mormon faith but drifted away from it after moving schools and befriending Tori. Another struggle for Brian was his lifelong stutter, which led to years of teasing. This was tough for him. In early high school, Brian wrote a story called Black River about a fictitious school shooting. Yes, he was also obsessed with the Columbine school shooters. Brian's family included his mom, sister, and father, although his father had addiction issues. His family was super proud of him, but grew concerned when his behavior changed during the summer of 2006 after spending more time with Tori. Brian's mother noticed that his regular friends stopped coming around, and it was all about Tori. She was concerned because his previous friends had been good kids, and she was unsure about Tori. Brian himself admitted to dabbling in antisocial behaviors during his early high school years. In the 9th grade, Brian became friends with Tori Adamczyk, and this friendship marked a significant change in Brian's life. Tori Michael Adamczyk was born on June 14, 1990. His parents, Sean and Shannon, had 3 children, with Tori being the middle child. Like Brian, Tori had a happy childhood in a solid religious family. Tori and Brian quickly became friends over their shared love of movies, especially horror themes and how films are made.
Okay. Do you like movies?
Yes.
What kind of movies? What's your favorite kind of movies?
I like horror movies.
Okay. So you like horror movies?
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite movie of all?
All time favorite movie would have to be. There's lots of choices. To be honest, I'd have to say Halloween. It's my favorite movie.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Good movie, it is.
That's a pretty good classic.
Yeah, it is.
They aspired to be filmmakers, always spending time together at each other's houses.
What about Brian? What's he like as far as that goes? Do you know what he's interested in? Are they into? Well, we've heard things like they're into. They like to make movies and they want to put together screenplays and write scripts and things. I mean, is that?
Well, they're kind of weird like that. They'll just talk about it, but they never really do it. And I don't really know too much about Brian because he's like really secretive about his house. Like I've been to his house like one time and he wouldn't let me go upstairs to his room. He's like really like protective of his house for some reason.
Okay.
Brian had a crush on Cassie, but she gently and respectfully turned him down.
Do you love Cassie?
Like, love as friend or love like.
You kind of have a crush on her a little bit. Did you have a crush on her a little bit?
I did, and I was about to ask her out, but then Matt did. And I always thought they were bad being a couple.
Despite this, Brian, Tori, Matt, and Cassie remained friends with no hard feelings.
They probably wouldn't be as enthusiastic about coming out there.
So why is that, you think?
Because they both always liked her.
Okay.
Like,
like her, like, you think?
Like they wanted
They
to
got a crush on her? You think?
Since like 9th grade.
Okay, you think both of them kind of got a crush on her, or do you think one of them more than the other? You think Tori's got a crush? You think Brian's got a crush? I mean,
I know that they both do because they both were like trying to go out with her.
Okay.
The boys got a camcorder, likely Brian's, and began recording themselves discussing heavy topics that teenagers often ponder as they approach adulthood. While some might find these darker discussions shocking, it's a common part of teenage exploration and understanding of the world. As school started again, everyone settled back into their routines. It was early in the school year, probably just a week or two in. On the morning of Friday, September 22nd, 2006, Brian was filming and approached Cassie to ask where Tori was. You can see Cassie at her locker, exchanging her books as she prepared for class.
Hey, look, it's Cassie.
Hey, look, I don't know.
Hello, Cassie. Have you seen Tori? He's an hour late.
The next footage shows Brian and Tori filming themselves at a table in the library, seemingly skipping class. They discussed their recent conversations and claimed they had tried at least 10 times to murder someone before, but their plans were always interrupted. Brian talked about his desire to be popular and his twisted belief that killing someone would be the way to achieve this goal. He wants to be famous, and he thinks killing someone is the way to do it. Brian and Tori's remarks reflect a deeply troubling mindset. They believed that committing a heinous act would bring him the popularity they craved. This was a far cry from the normal teenage exploration of dark topics. It was a clear sign of dangerous intentions. This conversation marked a stark and chilling shift from their usual discussions about movies and filmmaking. The boys' fascination with violence had taken a horrifying turn, and their camcorder recorded every disturbing word.
Our plan is supposed to happen tonight, so hopefully...
Cassie's aunt and uncle, whom she adored, asked her to house sit for the weekend while they were out of town. They knew Cassie was responsible and dependable, so it never crossed their minds to ask anyone else.
How you come to go up to Cassie's place, or out to that place she was house sitting?
She told me on Thursday
Okay.
that she was having babysitting the house, basically. And she just said that invite whoever you want as like a party.
So this was going to be Friday night, a party. Now, did she give you any details about who she was house sitting for? Had she ever done it before, or where that house was?
Yes, she said she's done it before,
okay,
and the people she's related to them, and they pretty much are pot smokers.
Okay.
So she happily agreed, knowing she'd make a little extra money for her car fund. After school, Cassie was dropped off at her aunt and uncle's house by her mother, Anna. Anna stayed outside watching Cassie walk inside safely before driving away. Some sources say Anna dropped Cassie and her boyfriend, Matt, off together, while others say Matt came by around 6 p.m. Either way, the adults knew Matt would be there, and they weren't concerned. They trusted Cassie and knew she'd be fine.
Is it true that there was talk at school about there being a party there on Friday night?
Yeah, because Cassie told Tori and Brian that she was just going to be up there, and that
Where did she tell them that? Was it at school or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was just like, okay, I'll just be there all weekend by myself, and they were all like, oh, you're gonna have a party, and she's all like, no, I said I was gonna be up there by myself, and they're all like, oh, you're gonna have a party. And so they went around and they were all like I'm pretty sure they were just kidding. They were all like, oh yeah, party at Cassie's, but no one knew where she was, so.
Okay.
Matt invited Brian and Tori over to the house, which Cassie was okay with, though she might have preferred a quieter evening.
So you looked through the video collection, see anything you liked? Did you pick a movie out? Or were you going to watch a movie?
I wanted to watch Domestic Disturbance, but that's not what Thor wanted to watch. So he got Kill Bill Volume 2, I believe.
Okay.
The group settled in to watch Kill Bill Volume 2. When Brian and Tori arrived, Cassie gave them a polite tour of the house, including the finished basement.
What's the first thing you did when you arrived there? Did you just go into the living room, or did you go throughout the whole house?
I walked
check
around.
Out the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Was you escorted by anybody, or
I was.
Matt. Okay, so Matt, like.
He walked me around stuff.
Okay, just kind of showing you. So you basically looked at every room in the house. Got the lay of the land.
There's a lot of rooms there. Yeah.
Okay.
There's tons of them.
All right.
During the tour, Brian secretly unlocked an exterior door so he and Tori could return later.
I just want to know, what door did you leave through when you guys left the house to go Wherever you went.
I think one time when we were at the house, I left out the back door. I don't know.
The back door as in?
The bottom one under the stairs.
Okay. So you don't mean on the other side of the house, you mean that bottom?
Yeah, that bottom stairs. I left out that door, and then I came back in that door, and then we left. But that was a while before that. That was when we were working out in the gym.
After the tour, everyone went upstairs to watch the movie.
Yeah. So maybe I got ahead of myself a little bit. With you down, you're doing the tour, checked out downstairs, and then did you all go back upstairs? We just went upstairs afterwards, and then I put in the movie, and then I watched. And that was Kill Bill Volume 2. Like, I think you said that the other night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I started watching that, and then they muted it twice because they got a phone call that she didn't recognize the number, so she never answered it.
Okay.
Brian and Tori announced they were heading out to see another movie in a theater.
So while you're signing that, so you watched the movie for you say you didn't watch the whole movie?
Yeah. We watched like maybe half an hour of it.
Okay. About what time is this then? So you watched a half hour of it? So when you got done watching the movie and those guys had ate their popsicle sticks or whatever they were doing there, so what time was it by the end of Kill Bill? You guys quit watching it?
Well, we went into the kitchen.
Okay, what were you doing in the kitchen?
Well, we're trying to find food again.
Okay.
And I remember the clock said 9:06, 8:50 something. I remember that. And I told him I probably needed to get going.
They said their goodbyes, and the two boys left the house. After leaving the house, Brian and Tori drove around for a while. They changed into dark clothing, gloves, and white masks with drippy red paint that looked like blood.
We're here in his car. The time is 9:50, September 22nd, 2006. Unfortunately, we have the grueling task of killing our two friends. And they are right in that house just down the street.
We just talked to them. We were there for an hour. But
we checked out the whole house. We know there's lots of doors. There's lots of places to hide. I locked the back doors, so it's all locked. Now we just gotta wait. And yeah, we're really nervous right now, but we're ready.
We're listening to the greatest rock band ever.
We've waited for this for a long time.
Pink Floyd.
They returned to the house about 15 minutes after they first left. Brian and Tori silently let themselves back into the basement through the door Brian had previously unlocked. Upstairs, Cassie and Matt started hearing strange noises from the basement, but decided not to investigate.
The dog is starting to growl at us, and we're kind of laughing.
Was it in the hallway or?
No, top of the stairs, and we started up the stairs and went into I'm not sure exactly.
Brian and Tori found the breaker box in the basement and shut off the power to the entire house.
Can you tell us a little bit about this? Did you mess with the lights or anything?
Yeah.
That power box?
Yes. We went there when Matt was still here, and we turned all the lights off to scare him.
So how did you do that? You had to do all the things like that?
Looked around for the power box, and we found it inside of the
right
room we're talking about. Okay. Yes, we turned them off. We turned them all off.
Their goal was to lure Cassie and Matt downstairs.
So was your intent when you do those lights is to get them to come downstairs?
Yes.
Okay, so you thought he was going to jump out and
yes.
Kick a little bit. That didn't work?
It didn't work.
Okay.
Despite the power outage, Cassie and Matt chose not to go investigate the basement. At this point, Matt called his mother to ask if he could stay the night with Cassie, as she was feeling uneasy about the power outage. His mother said no, thinking it wasn't a good idea, but offered to pick Matt up.
Well, and then on the phone before that, when I told him, I said, no, I'm going to be there because he wanted to stay. And I'm like, no, I have a surprise at home. You have to come home.
Okay.
And I said, see if Cassie wants to come. And so Matt said, do you want to go? And she's like, no, I can't.
You heard that?
Mm-hmm. I heard Cassie say
you heard that on the phone,
mm-hmm.
Part of the conversation?
Cassie said, no, I have to let the dog out in the morning.
Okay, what time was that on that phone call?
I don't even know.
Probably.
She also suggested that Cassie stay at their house since she was nervous. However, Cassie felt it was her responsibility to stay at the house she was being paid to watch. After talking to his mother, Matt called Tori to let him know he would be going home for the night. During their conversation, Tori spoke in a whisper and said he was at a movie. Matt believed this explanation, thinking the whisper was due to the movie theater. He quickly ended the call, unaware that Brian and Tori were actually downstairs and now knew he was about to leave. Matt's mother arrived to pick him up, and by 10:30 p.m., he was home. Cassie was now completely alone in the house. According to Matt, one of the dogs had started growling and staring down the stairs to the basement, but Cassie hadn't investigated. It's reasonable to think the dog was reacting to Brian and Tori trying to lure Cassie downstairs. Since Cassie didn't go down to the basement, Brian and Tori decided to head upstairs.
We came upstairs and we walked here and we shut the door. We shut it to scare it. And then we walked over here and Tori stepped in front of me and he walked over here and then Cassie was saying, who's there and stuff, and I was about to say, hey, and then she screamed,
They were wearing white masks with red paint resembling blood. They then approached her, startling her, and began stabbing her repeatedly. Tori later said, "It sounded like she was snoring. I knelt down beside her. I might have dropped my knife and left the room." Brian ordered Tori to turn the lights back on, which he did. Cassie lay on the floor. As her life was slipping away, Brian and Tori ran from the house. They removed their masks and gloves and turned the camcorder back on. Brian was heard saying,
I saw her lifeless body just disappear. I mean, it went by so fast.
Shut the up. We gotta get our act straight.
It's okay.
The next day, Saturday, Matt and Tori spent the day hanging out. Matt had tried to call Cassie several times because he was worried about her being alone the night before, but she didn't answer.
I tried to call her all day long.
Okay.
And right around like 7:30, maybe even 8 o'clock, Tori came over to my house, and I spent the night at his house.
What time did you come over to your house, Tori?
Like 7:38.
Okay. So no Saturday. That's just bunk. That just didn't happen, right? You weren't on Saturday.
So why are you not with her on Saturday?
Because I tried to call her all day and I couldn't get a ride up there. You know, like my mom was at work that day, so
you don't have a car?
No, my dad has my car.
Okay.
And so, like my mom was at work, I couldn't get a ride from her.
Okay.
Tori, I was trying to persuade him to get up there, but he didn't have enough gas, and what gas he did have had to last him for like a week.
Okay.
And so, like, I just tried to call her like all day long.
And most of those calls you were trying to call from where? Did you call from your house?
From my house, most of them.
Okay.
And then like probably like 4 or 5 from Tori's cell phone.
This wasn't like her at all. He then called Cassie's mother, Anna, that evening. Anna also hadn't been able to reach Cassie and confirm she wasn't home. It's curious that no one went over to check on Cassie on Saturday. I would have been over there myself. But perhaps the universe was protecting Anna from the horrific scene that awaited when Cassie's aunt, uncle, and cousin returned on Sunday. Cassie's 13-year-old cousin was the first to find her. When she saw the scene, she began screaming, and her parents rushed over. The house was described as being covered in not just on the carpet, but on the walls and furniture. Cassie's body lay on the floor next to the couch. Cassie's uncle called the police, who then informed Anna. Officer Hatch arrived at the scene and noted the large amounts of blood and deep in Cassie's body. There were defensive wounds on her hands and arms. It was estimated that she had been dead for about 2 days, meaning she was murdered Friday night. Forensic pathologist Dr. Charles Garrison, who also examined Cassie's body, the investigation revealed no signs of forced entry into the house, leading to the conclusion that Cassie knew her attackers. There was no sign of a burglary either, as the house hadn't been ransacked. The dogs and cats, who had been confined to a separate room, were unharmed. The investigation uncovered Anna's long-term boyfriend's or possible husband's fingerprints on the electrical box door in the basement. However, he had a solid alibi and had previously done some electrical work for the family, so he was quickly ruled out. Matt was naturally a suspect, being the last person to see Cassie alive. He was honest with the police, explaining that he had seen the lights flickering and that Cassie had been scared. He had called his mother to see if he could stay with her, but she said no. Matt's mother confirmed she heard Cassie's voice while Matt was getting into their vehicle. So Cassie was alive when Matt left. Matt also took a polygraph test and passed it, consistently providing accurate information.
Are you going to do okay?
In a polygraph?
Yes.
I'm pretty confident I will.
If you're telling the truth, you're fine.
Yeah.
If you're lying, if you're lying,
right.
I'll tell you this right now, that if you've been lying to us about this whole thing, and we're asking a polygraph, my advice to you is don't take the polygraph.
The investigators ruled him out as a suspect. Matt mentioned his friends, Brian and Tori, had visited just before the lights began acting up and the strange noises started.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, knowing what you know about them, let's just face it. We look at you the last one leave there, they left there. We got to look at them. It's like, are they capable? Are they two kids that are capable of doing something like that, Cassie? I know we don't want to believe it a lot of times, but just think it deep. Anything that would make you think that.
I honestly don't think either of them would do anything like that.
Okay. They left the house, right? After you guys played around, right? So where is the last room in the house that you guys are at before they leave?
The living room.
Upstairs. Okay.
With Matt cleared, the investigators turned their attention to Brian and Tori. Both were interviewed, and it didn't take long for things to unravel.
So you arrive at the movie house at 9:45.
Yeah.
Okay, you go in.
You go to the movie.
You go in.
Okay, do you go straight into the movie or you hang out in the lobby?
I went to the bathroom.
Okay. And who sold you your ticket?
I remember it was a guy.
Was there anything particular about him?
It was just a guy in the movie theater.
Okay.
Did you know him?
No.
Brian initially claimed he and Tori had been at a movie theater, but couldn't recall much about the movie.
And you're absolutely, unequivocally positive that you two went into Pulse. You two bought tickets for Pulse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then,
Andy asked you about the guy that was taking the tickets, just so we know. Do you remember what color hair he had? Do you remember anything about him at all?
I didn't really
remember anybody else there working behind the counter?
Yes, I was talking
Do you
to him.
recognize anybody?
No, I was just talking to my friend, Tori. I was talking to him. We bought tickets.
Okay, now as soon as you bought tickets, you went in there at 9:45, but the movie hadn't started because it starts at 10, so you had to hang around in the lobby for 15 minutes, right?
Well, no. We went to the bathroom.
Okay.
Then they went to theater.
They had no idea how many people were in the theater that night watching Pulse with them.
Okay, was there a lot of people in there?
It wasn't like, a full house or anything.
Estimate how many people you think were in there.
Half.
Like 10 people?
No.
5 people? 20 people?
I remember, it wasn't like full. Maybe half of the theater, probably. Not half wasn't packed. I don't know. It just maybe, if I were to say a number, I'd say about 30.
About 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, they could not produce a single eyewitness who saw them at the theater that night.
Let's talk to her. So you don't remember any details about this movie, though. How long were you in the movie for?
We were in there maybe 20 minutes, and I called Matt.
Okay.
What's the movie about? You're movie buffs. These are things that you pay attention to, right?
At least you guys, parts of the movie, so many characters you can hook us up with to describe somebody in the movie, describe what happened, anything. What's the whole premise or the plot of the movie? What's it all about?
Well, it was similar to White Noise.
Okay, I don't know White Noise, so you're gonna have to give us some. Okay, you're gonna have to give us some details.
Okay, it's about a guy and his wife.
I don't want to know what White Noise is about. I want to know what this movie's about.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then I remember, I can't really exactly explain the movie because I haven't paid attention to it.
Well, okay. You know what we did yesterday? We went and watched the movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
What is the movie about?
Jeez, I don't exactly know.
Describe one person you saw in the movie. What did they look like?
I'm seeing a man, and he looked at a TV screen, and it had White Noise on it. It had the shh thing.
And that's all you saw, the whole movie. So how long do you think you were inside that movie theater? Total, grand total.
We were there for maybe 2 hours.
2 hours? You were inside that movie theater?
Maybe.
And you don't remember one detail to help us out.
So they call themselves movie buffs. Yet neither of them can't recall any scene from the movie. Next, Brian claimed that Tori called Matt from the theater.
And I called Matt.
Okay.
And, let's see.
You called him or Tori called him?
Tori called him.
And you remember what time that was?
It was maybe 20 minutes in the movie.
So 10:20, if the movie starts at
Well, not
10.
exactly 20 minutes, but you know. Yeah.
So around 10:20, you think?
Yeah. I'd say I remember checking his phone to see what time it was at like maybe 10 minutes of the movie. And it said 10:12. And then I remember we called him at least probably 10 minutes after that. So
Okay.
around.
So you were sitting inside the movie house
Yes.
when you called inside the theater and the movie was going.
Yes.
Who'd you talk? Did you make the call or did
He
you call?
called. He called. Yes.
Tori called
Yeah.
Matt.
Tori called Matt.
Okay.
He eventually said they had stopped by Cassie's house but left, with some convoluted story about trying to break into cars.
We've talked to a lot of people. We viewed tape. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, you didn't go to the movie.
Okay.
You were not at that movie theater.
Mhm.
Okay? Now that's neither here nor there. But the thing is, you're going to have to get by that.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't go to the movie, that's fine. But you're going to have to tell us where you went so that we can put you there, because it's I don't want something to cave in on you that's not working for you.
Right.
Okay? We're here to help you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we are.
You know what happened. Okay?
What?
You didn't go to the movie.
We didn't go to the movie. Okay. I'll tell you.
Okay,
listen.
before you do that, just listen carefully to Andy, okay?
Okay? Now listen to me. Don't underestimate how much we know.
Okay.
Okay? I told you the first night that when I saw you that I don't think you're the type of person that could kill somebody cold-bloodedly.
And well, you especially my close friend. Yeah.
Especially your close friend.
Of course.
Okay?
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay.
Okay.
I can tell you what we're doing. I was trying to hide this, but I guess I have to tell you now.
You're gonna have to, man. It's the only way out.
We went through cars. And that's against the law. That's why I want to say that.
Okay, you went through cars. What does that mean?
We checked for the cars that are locked, and
Where at?
we
Where was that? Where at?
Tori had to drive. I don't know. And then we called Matt because he wanted to come too.
He admitted to casing cars around the neighborhood. The detectives did try to give him a chance to explain the murder by easing him by calling it a prank.
45.
Is it possible, aside from coincidence and all that kind of stuff, that when you got out, you parked there, did you go back to play a prank on those guys?
Prank on him?
On Cassie and Matt?
No.
Did you go there just to screw with them a little bit and pro prank?
No.
Okay. You're solid about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Well, you did get out in the neighborhood and check a few car doors.
Yes.
Okay. With the intent to burglarize those cars? You're going to take some stuff out of them, right?
Yes.
Every single car you checked was locked.
No. And then
So you left that neighborhood, okay?
Yes.
And what neighborhood you go to after that?
Then we drove around there. So we left her house, I'd have to say about 10:40. Then we went there.
You left whose house? That was the time after you got done parking and checking cars, 10:40.
Yes. Then we went all the way to his house and we ran those cars there. And then we probably done around 11:30, 11:40. Then I went back, I called my mom. And I told her exactly I forgot to call her and stuff. Around 11:40. And that was it.
The fact that Brian can't recall what cars they tried to burglarize only put him into a pickle with the detectives.
You need to get into a car with us, and you need to show us what houses you went to. That's what
I
needs
can't
to happen.
exactly what
And dude, you're in.
houses.
You're not putting yourself in a very favorable position in this investigation.
Okay.
The detectives then told Brian their theory.
And things. We know that Brian is not being truthful about the movie. We picked up on that in a second, okay? But we had to go prove it. Okay? The second thing is that we know that you're not being truthful about the car burglaries. You know why? Because your body won't let you tell a lie. Okay? I can read it in you. You are not the kind of person that is just a cold-blooded person that doesn't care about things, because you do care. Okay? The car burglary thing's not happening. Okay?
That's what happened.
But you know what I'm thinking? And correct me if I'm wrong. Okay? Is that somebody has got you mixed into something, regardless of what level you're mixed in, to something that you do not want to be involved in. You don't want to be involved in this.
I don't.
Okay? There's no way in hell that you want to be involved in this. But, Brian, you know, and you know, the thing of it is, none of us go away.
Yeah,
You know?
I understand.
You know, we can get hit by a Mack truck tomorrow, and there's going to be another fat guy sitting in a chair, okay, going over the same questions, saying the same things, that this isn't adding up and this isn't adding up, okay? Brian, we know some things that you don't know that we know, okay?
Okay.
He then tells him he has evidence putting his red car at the time of the murder in front of Cassie's house.
I know by the evidence that we have that you're there, okay?
I was there before.
I know that you guys come back. I know that you come back. Either it's you or it's Tori.
Oh, I don't know who
Okay.
it was, but I did not go back to the house that night, I swear. I did not go back to the house.
Okay? You're not being truthful with us about the car burglaries. Don't even insult us.
I'm not trying to insult you. We did go through cars. I mean, that's the truth. It's exactly what we did.
Brian, she was not supposed to die.
I know.
You didn't
How do
mean
you
for
feel
that
about
to happen.
Cassie? Tell us how you feel about Cassie dying.
I'm extremely sad.
Eventually, Brian admitted he had been in the house when Cassie was murdered, but initially claimed he hadn't participated. He then said he had Cassie, but only because Tori had forced him to. However, the autopsy revealed 2 different types of knives were used, making Brian's story inconsistent with the evidence. Tori's version of events was similar to Brian's, with minor differences.
So what was the purpose of parking there?
We were scoping the neighborhood
Why?
because we were planning to go through cars.
When you say go through cars, what do you mean?
Oh, see the ones that are open, we don't go through any with alarms or that are locked. We just walk by, push the handle, and if it's open, we get in it and steal the gas money or change.
So have you done that before?
Once this year and in 9th grade.
Okay, so it's something that, familiar with?
Yes,
Okay, you do that. Do you think it's real frequent, or just a couple times?
just a couple times.
Okay, so this is fairly new to you
Yeah.
stuff. It's not, you're not old pro at it. You don't go out
No.
every other night and do this kind of stuff.
No.
Okay, what problem? I guess I'm assuming you and Brian decided to do this together.
No.
Or he's not doing
I
it.
did
you're
it in
doing
9th grade before I was friends with Brian with Adam back
But that
then.
night.
And then Adam got busted, and I didn't do it. After Adam got busted, I didn't do it anymore. And then I didn't do it anymore 10th grade summer. 9th grade summer, and I didn't do it 10th. I didn't do it 10th grade summer, but we just barely started up on a weekend of our junior year. It's actually 2 weeks ago before this one.
Okay.
There were witnesses locating Tori and Brian carrying a blue garbage in a shovel com out of a red car near Black Rock area.
Did you take the garbage out with you, dump it, and when you went out, or did you have the garbage? I'm just trying to figure out why somebody'd see you with a blue garbage sack, like coming out, like you're bringing the garbage out. But it's like,
Was it a sack full of stuff, or just?
Yeah,
It was full of stuff?
well, it had the sack, and then, there were some items that you had, apparently. And it went in the trunk of your car. And all I'm telling is what people are telling us.
I don't know.
Okay.
Then there was question about the knives and the masks. Even though there were no eyewitnesses placing them at the crime scene, but the investigators had Brian's confession.
Let's talk about knives. Okay? What do you know about knives? We've been told you like knives. You collect knives? Okay,
I have 3 knives.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have a knife on Friday?
No, I didn't.
You sure?
Yes.
I'm sure nobody saw you with a knife. 2 guys in a mask messing around with a knife.
No.
Okay. All right.
Did anybody buy you a knife
No.
at Mad Mike's Pawn?
No.
If we had pawn slips that some guy in the name of John bought 2 knives at Bad Mike's
No.
to give to you and Brian?
No.
Okay. All right.
It was at this point Tori realized that Brian's probably have coughed up the truth to the investigators because there was no other way the authorities could have pinpointed the location of the pawn shop from where they bought the knives from.
I'm going to tell you that we need to. Now's the time. Now's the time to really start being honest with some things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know some things to be true. We know exactly what happened. We found some things. Okay. And I want to give you the first chance and the first opportunity.
You owe it to your mom and dad.
Absolutely.
You've got great parents. You owe it to your mom and dad to be straight with
We're all here for you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. I mean, we're not here to twist anything up. We're here to help you out of a jam. If you got drug into some things, which apparently you did, we need to know, and we need to know the truth. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the best way I can explain it is the house of cards is falling. You know, and it's kind of, stories are falling apart and stuff like
that.
that.
Tori, you know where we're going with this.
Yeah.
You know what we have.
And we know, man, it's just one of those things. You come to this juncture in your life, and you just either gotta give it up, or it's gonna eat you up. And your folks want you to do that. I'm telling you. I mean, the truth is gonna set you free on this. You know, literally. You know, but the truth is gonna set your feelings free, and you're gonna get by this thing. But I'm here to tell you that we've been doing this for several days. We've talked to a lot of people. We've seen a lot of things. We've put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's what we do. That's all we've been doing. We've been sleeping. Okay? We know how it went down.
Tell us what happened.
With what?
Out of Cassie's place.
We went through cars, me and Brian.
You know, I'm not here to insult you or anything, but we don't believe your story. And we don't believe your story. And I don't think your dad believes your story about going through the cars. It's a tough one. And I don't believe it, especially because I know it's not true. Because we got you going into that house. When you parked on the street, we got you going back into Cassie's house. If it was a prank, if you guys are just messing around, fine. We just need to know about that prank, you know, that's going on in there. And if it's you just there to scare him and you guys left and something happened else besides that, let's get that thing out of here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But in everything that happens, there's always people that are watching. You go around and talk to all these people, and they finally put together this puzzle. But you cooperate for us, parking in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, do you guys go back in just to pull a prank? Is that what happens?
I don't know.
You're into that kind of stuff. I mean, for all intents and purposes, and tell me if I'm screwed up on this, but you like horror movies, you like scare movies and stuff like that. That's what I've been told about you. You dig those kind of movies, right? Thriller movies, whatever you want to call them. You dig those kind of things. Did you go in there just to scare them, just to scare the crap out of them, and you know, and be done with it? Because you know, there's no other reason, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about that. Help us understand a little bit about it. Take a deep breath and do it, bud. You know the truth. The truth is easy for you. But we can help you. If we don't get the truth, we can't come together. We can't work this thing out. We can't do it. You're going to be left out in the cold.
Can I talk to an attorney?
You can do that.
They both essentially pointed the finger at each other. Their friendship crumbled under the weight of their confessions.
And there's just no easy way to tell you this. We do know that that Tori and Brian have gone back in the house, okay? We do know that the two of them murder. We do know that they murder Cassie, okay? We got the evidence at this point to prove that.
You found the evidence?
We also have some overwhelming evidence, trace evidence, that type of stuff that's going to prove that they did it as well. It's not just hearsay. It's not just somebody saying it. And then we do have a confession from another person giving full disclosure.
Tori, having almost fully admitted to the murder, led investigators to the spot where they had poorly attempted to bury evidence related to the crime. At the burial site, investigators found partially burned masks, clothing, both knives, and other items. Crucially, they also recovered tapes that Brian and Tori had recorded, which they probably assumed had been destroyed.
We know the details. We've got the knife that you used. We've got the masks that you used. We've got the videotape. We've got it. There's a tape up in there that you buried. Okay? Try to catch on fire. All that stuff.
These tapes provided all the evidence needed to charge the boys with Cassie's murder just 5 days after it occurred. On the tapes, the 16-year-old boys discussed how they had been planning the murder for some time and even had a kill list. Another girl had been their initial target, but she had the good fortune of not being home.
We found our victim, and sad as it may be, she's our friend. We'll find out if she has friends over. She's gonna be alone in a big...
Tori claimed he thought they were just making a cheap horror movie and was only acting a part, believing they were going to scare Cassie. This defense fell apart quickly. If it was all supposed to be fake, why didn't they take the camera into the house to film the scare scene? Brian said he had been inspired by the Columbine High School shooting. Tori liked their plan to the movie Scream, which is why the murder sometimes gets labeled the Scream murders. These confessions and the evidence found were enough to charge both boys with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. The community was shocked by the and senseless crime, leaving Cassie's loved ones and friends devastated. They both were tried separately as adults, where both the defendants claimed the real instigator to be the other one. Brian pleaded guilty to his crimes, but Tori claimed it was never him. It was always been Brian's idea to murder Cassie, and it was solely Brian who killed her. He was just a witness. On April 17, 2007, the first to be convicted was Brian.
A jury found Draper guilty first, to which Stoddart's grandfather reacted.
One down, one more to go.
Just a few months down the line, on June 8, 2007, the same verdict was handed over to Tori. He too was found guilty of first-degree murder. On August 21, 2007, they both received a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, plus 30 years to life for being convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. They are both serving their time at Idaho State Correctional Institution. To this day, Tori maintains his innocence. In November 2019, Tori's sentence was upheld after his appeal was denied by the Idaho Supreme Court. Cassie Jo Stoddart's tragic end is more than a case of lost life. It's a shattering of innocence and trust within a close-knit community. Her story, one of youthful ambition and friendships, takes a harrowing turn that leaves us grappling with the complexities of human nature. As we reflect on Cassie's life and the brutal betrayal she endured, we're reminded of the need for vigilance in our interactions and the importance of fostering genuine connections. This isn't just a story about loss. It's a call to action for greater empathy and awareness in our daily lives. Remember Cassie, not just for the tragedy that befell her, but for the vibrant spirit she embodied and the lessons her story imparts on us all. Thank you for watching. If Cassie's story moved you, please hit the like button and share it to keep her memory alive. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more gripping true crime stories. Your engagement helps us continue to bring attention to important cases like Cassie's. Stay connected, stay vigilant, and take care of one another. See you next time.